Well, no date on that. Can you hear me, Don?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Oh, Linda.
Hello there. How are you?
That was a delayed reaction. Oh.
So did you ride in the boat parade on the weekend? Or?
Don. Going. No, I stayed away.
I think there's still some boats out there.
I don't know.
There's signs.
Just north of the railroad bridge, so we were not affected. Where is everybody?
Yeah, it looks like we got a short agenda tonight.
There's Peter.
Peter has to be here because he started the meeting.
Yeah,
He's
there's
here.
no quorum. No quorum yet.
Not yet.
Maybe we could deputize Linda.
Oh dear. I don't live in Groton. That wouldn't work.
Oh, all right. Well,
Sarah's coming, right? I talked to her the other day. She didn't say she wasn't.
now I heard that somebody else applied to be on our commission, but I don't know if it's the old applicant that has since dropped out or somebody new. I don't know if Linda or Peter saw any like new application thing. No.
I haven't heard of anything. And we often don't get notification till we hear from the town clerk.
There were 3 members on the committee. He's the president of the Downtown Mystic Merchants.
Has anyone heard from Sarah?
I talked to her the other day. She didn't say she wasn't coming.
How about Eric?
Eric, I haven't spoken.
I don't have any emails, so I imagine they're coming.
It's unusual for Eric to be, he's usually 5 minutes early sitting there waiting.
Peter, can you hear me?
Yep, Greg, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
We have 2 more attendees, but we don't have enough members for a quorum.
I'll text Sarah.
Well, there she is.
Hi.
Now a quorum.
Right? I'm sorry, I was logging on not in the right manner. Let me see if I can, what I'm looking for. Is Eric joining us?
We don't know.
We don't know. All right, well, while we wait a minute, let's see if I can try to pull up what I was trying to pull up.
I'll text Eric.
I just texted him, see where he was at.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay, I won't text him.
I suppose you guys do have enough for a quorum. 3 members.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we see and hear you fine, Sarah. I don't know.
What?
We see and hear you fine. I don't know.
Oh no, I was just looking for something.
Oh.
That was taking me a little bit to get on. I was trying to pull up the agenda on the site, but I couldn't find it. But if I recollect from looking at it earlier today, there's only one thing on the agenda. Is that right, Linda?
Correct.
So then I guess we don't need to wait since we have a quorum. So I will actually let Peter do his little
Intro.
first.
Okay. All right, so this meeting of the Historic District Commission will take place in a webinar format through Zoom. The chair of the commission is Sarah Moriarty. The host of the webinar is the building official. Staff attending the meeting include Pete Zvinglis and Linda Galato. Anyone speaking should state their names prior to speaking each time. The panelists in this webinar meeting will be the commission members and the building staff. Panelists who would like to comment on an item should indicate such by an icon or to raise hand at the bottom of the screen. After a panelist raises a hand, they will be able to comment one at a time when called upon by the chairperson. Panelists should mute their microphones until called upon. Panelists calling into the meeting by telephone may raise or lower their hand by pressing *9. To mute or unmute your call, press *6. To make a motion or second a motion, commission members could raise a hand and be acknowledged by the host or chair. To vote on a motion, commission members will be called upon individually by the chair to vote. The public can participate in the meeting during the public communications agenda item. The public will be asked to raise their hand during public communications if they want to speak at this time by using the icon to raise hand at the bottom of the screen. And the public will be called on by the host one at a time and will be able to speak during this time. Attendees must identify themselves before speaking.
All right. So on September 15th at 7:06, and the first thing I'll do is take a roll call. So Moriarty, present. Brady,
Present.
Levinson,
Present.
Goodman, Giannakopoulos, Galetta,
Present.
and Peter Zibingalis.
Present.
All right. So then, Todd, would you mind reading the call?
Dear Michelle, please publish the following public notice for one insertion on Monday, September 7, 2020, Town of Groton Notice of Public Hearing, Historic District Commission. The Historic District Commission will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, September 15, 2020 at 7 p.m. virtually via the Zoom platform to hear the following applications requesting a certificate of appropriateness. HTC 20-61, 54 West Main Street, Ad 26 Realty LLC, owner Greg Fettis. Applicant, exterior renovations, PIN number 26191830794. The Zoom meeting link will be posted to the town's website meetings calendar or can be attended by visiting www.zoom.us, webinar ID 89804195179, password 260. Or by phone 1-312-626-6799. Applications are on file and available for public inspection during normal business hours at the Planning Department, 134 Groton Lone Point Road, Groton, Connecticut. Dated the 7th day of September 2020 at Groton, Connecticut. Todd Brady, Secretary.
All right. So I will call the first application, HDC 20-61, 54 West Main Street, applicant Greg Fettis.
Bear with me 1 second.
I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to get the share screen. I'm just trying. Here we go. Here we go. Is Greg there?
Greg, you
Can you hear me now?
now we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening. My name's Greg Fettis with Fettis Engineering, representing the owner of 54 West Main Street. Walter Bansley's on the phone listening in and will comment in as necessary, if necessary. But basically, we're changing the use and going for site plan approval for the property at 54 West Main Street, which was originally the Bank of America, and it's been purchased by Mr. Bansley, and now it's currently operating as a office. There are a couple different businesses there, his law firm as well as a realtor. So the change of use is to a restaurant. There's going to be a brewery component inside of the restaurant, which basically is going to it's not going to be full-blown brewery. It's going to basically be brewing beer for the restaurant. I'm going to share the screen and bring up the site plan. Oh, someone else is sharing. I guess that says I can't share.
No, hang on a second. I can promote you. Let's see. Okay, you should be able to share screen now.
Okay. Can you guys see that?
No.
Is that a no?
All right, now,
That's a no. There we go.
So I don't think, I could be confused, but typically the applicant doesn't share the screen. They just go with the exhibits that we posted. So maybe
Right.
that's the problem.
Okay, I can do that.
so Peter, what to scroll to, Greg?
Either that or you should be able to contact
Peter,
him.
if you want to, can you scroll down to like the site plan? Well, I can kind of go, yeah, there you go. You want to zoom out, I guess? That should be good. So there's we're not really changing the building at all. We got a couple things going on. We are cutting in a door into one of the windows in the rear of the property to allow am I still here?
We're back.
I got disconnected for a second. We're cutting a window in, cutting a door into a window you can see in the rear of the building, which is going to allow accessible access into the building, which it currently doesn't have. Additionally, allows a second form of egress out of the building in case there's a problem in the front of the building. We do have access off of Bank Street. It's very limited. There was a shared kind of mutual agreement with Mystic Pizza, but they're not being as cooperative as we had hoped. So they put up some barrels with some rope to keep Mr. Bansley and his employees off of their property. But we did add some landscaping on the back. If you kind of scroll over to the Bank Street entrance, we did add some screening landscaping, which basically that is 6 Bank Street is a residential property. You can see the zoning line, which is an R7 on that one property, and then it's an MDD elsewhere. So we did add some screening there where we felt we had room. Otherwise, that access off of Bank Street is just going to be basically for deliveries and for handicap access. There's no parking now in the back. All the parking that's in the lot behind us is on another property. So at the request of the Historic Commission, when we were before you 4 weeks ago, we did add some landscaping in the back to kind of shield the transformer, as well as kind of dress that area up a little bit. We're also adding a trash enclosure to the rear of the property, which is right adjacent to the handicap access. We have a couple pieces of equipment on the back right corner of the building, a chiller and a glycol reservoir. That's going to get fenced in with similar fencing that's adjacent on the adjacent property. Basically a stockade fence and a gate.
The trash enclosure.
The trash enclosure is a similar product, also wood stockade fence. I think there's a detail on the second sheet, which we can get to.
And where it is on here, though, I don't see it.
Oh, it's located on the back left corner, adjacent to the bike parking. Back left corner, proposed trash enclosure, just at the kind of the adjacent to the handicap spot.
Sorry.
So we also have a couple bike parking or bike rack area there along the side of the building. And then if you move, Peter, if you move to the front of the building, we're proposing some seating, outdoor seating on either side of the entrance, and which is going to also has a 5-foot landscape buffer on the street side, and a little bit of landscaping along the building, which are requirements of the site zoning regulations. So we had originally, we're going to do just grass under the seating, but at the request of the Historic Commission, and we also, the planning staff kind of recommended, as well as the health would prefer that we didn't have grass, so we are going with a pervious paver there, which will make a nice platform for 5 tables of 4 on either side. It will be fenced in, and we can get, the second sheet shows a fence detail that we'll get to. But just going back to that, Peter, just for 1 second, I just want to talk about the signs. Again, to kind of clean up our signage out front, there was 3 freestanding signs. 2 of them are going to be removed. And we're just going to keep, one was a do not enter sign. That was an old Bank of America sign, as well as another freestanding sign located on the left quadrant, I guess, of the left lower quadrant. So those 2 signs are going to get removed. And then on the right side, we're going to keep the 1 freestanding sign. We don't know exactly what it's going to say yet, but we'll come back before the commission with an actual picture. We do have a detail on the second sheet that shows the size of the sign. We're going to keep it, just clean it up, probably sandblast it, and then paint the logo of the restaurant on there. And also on the front of the building, and you'll see on the elevation on the second sheet, we are proposing to put the letters which spell out brewery on the building. And we're also planting, you can see back a couple of street trees on the frontage, as well as some additional landscaping. So if you want to flip to the second sheet, Peter. You can zoom out. So again, we just have dumpster enclosure details, the stockade fence detail, the outdoor seating fence detail, and then the handicap or accessible access ramp detail, and some planting details that were requested by staff. And then if you want to think on the floor plan set, I think I'm back. So the floor plan just shows the seating arrangement where we have the brewery on the right side of the building, kitchen in the back, and then seating throughout, and then seating in front, which is kind of duplicates what was shown on the site plan. The mezzanine, which is very small, is just going to be an office and storage. And then if you flip to page 2, Peter, thank you. Shows the basement plan, which again is mechanicals and storage, and then a detail of the brewery sign, which is just silver letters, depicted pretty well in that south elevation. We also show a post, the post sign that's remaining, and the detail of that. And then the rear elevation, we show the cut-in door as well as the hood and venting system.
Peter, can you just go back to the floor plan? Up one.
If there's any other questions, I'd happy to answer them, but I think I kind of went through everything.
Greg, when I look at the detail on the ramp, it says wood/aluminum. So what's that mean? Just so
Well,
I understand it.
so the wood platform to kind of transition to the aluminum ramp. If you look back at the site plan,
Yep.
it's kind of a weird angle coming out of the building. So we are going to build a wood platform and then attach an aluminum ramp that's a little bit adjustable to get down to the handicap parking space.
So the ramp is aluminum.
The ramp portion is aluminum, yes.
Boat ramp?
Did someone say something? I'm sorry.
Like a boat ramp or a marina dock ramp or something like that?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's similar to that. I think you see them, just offers a little bit of flexibility for my client regarding kind of putting it all together. There's the transformers back there, some landscaping. Not that it can move around a little bit. He just kind of wanted the lightness and the flexibility of moving it if need be for whatever reason.
Okay. Not a huge fan of that. My next question, the rear door. I'm just trying to make sure that we have the materials of that rear door on here. I'm not seeing them. You might just need to point them out to me.
I think we just called it out as a steel fire rated exterior door. I don't think we, it needs to be fire rated per the building code, I believe. Peter, you can weigh in on that. And we were going to paint it the same color as the brick building, so it kind of faded away and you didn't really see it.
Well, Peter, that doesn't have to be a rated door, does it?
No, I don't believe so. I don't know if the fire marshal brought it up to him though. Is it a corridor going out of that door? Or is it a straight shot into the building?
Well, it's into the building, but then we need to add a couple doors interior that he wanted fire rated. And maybe I just assumed that he wanted that fire rated too.
The door went into a stair tower that was rated, maybe then, right, Peter? But
That's what I'm saying. If it's a corridor, then it would have to be rated. But if it's not a corridor, it's not a shared corridor, then it shouldn't have to be.
Well, the only reason I mention that, Greg, is that the door, I think, by code, if it's not rated, it doesn't have to be a solid door, a solid steel door. But you can, I guess, propose whatever you want.
I'm looking at the floor plan. Am I in the wrong? I'm looking on my own computer, but where's the door on the floor plan? Let me switch back to you guys so I can see what you're looking at.
So it's
Yeah, where is the door?
it's that blank spot in the proposed back bar seating area, and it's not cut in there.
So it's right where the cursor
Right
is?
there, yes. Right where the whoever's cursor that is, yes.
Okay.
So
How
it
about-
goes right into a seating area, and it's really meant for emergency egress and only handicap access.
Well, hold on, let me just look at something. Out back, you don't have any seating out back. It's just your transformer, your handicap access, right?
That's correct.
Okay,
No seating out back.
okay. So I guess my concern with the door is I don't think you have to have a fire rated door, but regardless of whether you do or you don't, I don't see the door materials listed. Try and just point me in the right direction.
I don't know that we specifically,
Yeah, I would say for that location, it shouldn't have to be a rated door for that location. So it's not a corridor. You're not sharing a corridor or anything there.
But you might want to have a door with glass in it, especially if you got someone in a wheelchair right outside the door and someone goes busting out the door, right? Wheelchair. Not an HTC issue, but
More of a safety.
yeah.
So if my next question, if part of your application, and it might not be, I have to go back to look at your application to see what it says, is the signage. Are you looking for approval tonight on the brewery letters on the building?
we are.
Okay, so then what are those dimensions? What are those made of?
Yeah, those are on the dimensions are on the second, or there's a detail on the second sheet of the floor plan set, I believe.
Okay.
Were you looking for the sign detail?
It's second sheet of the next set, the floor plan. Right, you just passed it.
Post sign detail right there.
Wall mounted sign detail. So the dimensions are there. We didn't specifically call out the material, but it's metal.
So they're not freestanding letters, it's a sign.
They're individual letters, but we spaced them out and put the dimensions on.
Okay.
The height of the letters are 1.67 or 1 foot 8 inches, and properly spaced, they're 13 feet.
And what are they made of?
They're just like steel.
Steel.
How are they affixed to the building?
To be honest with you, they're be screwed in somehow to the building. I'm not sure exactly how they get screwed in. Probably right through the letters is my guess.
But we won't see any bracket detail.
You won't see any brackets.
Okay. Okay. And letters, door material, wood. Sorry, I was just going through all my questions. I got to jump back if anybody has any other questions while I look at something.
So Greg, you're not looking for approval for this post sign detail tonight then?
Well, we just wanted to show you that that's the sign that's going to be there. The logo or whatever we decide. I don't think we have a restaurant name yet. There'll be a actual detail, which we're happy to come back and show you. We just wanted to show you the size and dimensions of the sign we're keeping on the site. The
So you're
two
gonna
other
keep
signs are getting removed.
You're obviously going to touch up the pole, right?
Oh, yeah. The whole thing is going to get cleaned up and fixed. And I think we put probably notes right on there that said that on the site plan.
I wasn't paying 100% attention, and I apologize because I was scrolling through your application. The entrance from Bank Street and then down, you're going to have a bike rack on the side, and you're going to put plantings on the entrance from Bank Street. But is that going to be anything other than a pedestrian access way?
Well, it's really just, it's not wide enough for two-way access, and then the access out between the Mystic Pizza and our building is one way, and the majority of it is owned by Mystic Pizza. So we really don't have room to, come in. Our loading area is back there.
Okay.
And really it's just access for the handicap spot.
So that's it, just loading
Yep.
and drop off for handicap?
Correct. And then, I mean, if someone wanted to walk down there or bike down there, they can come either from West Main Street or Bank Street, but, you know, majority of the traffic will be from Main Street, West Main.
But if they came from Bank Street, pedestrian, how would they get into the building?
They would either come in the back access or they'd probably walk around the front. We don't expect any, you know, really any traffic from Bank Street. There's just not, you know, someone would walk down and, I mean, they might cut through, the locals might cut through and say, hey, I'm just going over, and they'll come in the front entrance. The back entrance is really meant for, you know, probably some deliveries, but mostly just access and emergency, you know, handicap access and emergency egress. There's just not enough room back there. You know, there was a kind of a gentleman's handshake prior to my client purchasing the building, and then it kind of changed. So probably over time they'll work something out, but as well as you can see in the rear, that doesn't seem to, that rear parking area was also kind of blocked off and the fence put up, and some of the spaces are actually on my client's property. So anyway, so we got to work through a couple of, you know, I guess they're, whatever their matter, the neighbor matters.
Okay. So my concerns, one can be resolved, which is just, you know, if and when we vote, we just delineate that the signage material is steel screwed in with no brackets visible. I don't have an issue with that. We do need door materials, and I'm not a huge fan of the aluminum. I mean, that doesn't mean anything. I'm just telling you what my opinions are. I don't know if any other commission members have any other comments or
Of the aluminum ramp?
for you. What?
The aluminum ramp or the?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't particularly like it. But.
Yeah, I guessing that wouldn't be critical to my client, but he can weigh in if it is.
Don or Todd, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I'm not crazy about the aluminum ramp either. And then, I don't know what happened to, I guess it was Todd's suggestion about the back door having a window in it. What's the feeling on that?
Well, the issue from my perspective is that we don't have the materials for the back door, and I have no problem with a back door. I think that we need to know what the back door is other than a proposed 3-foot door. And actually his site plan does say a proposed 3-foot door at existing window opening. So, I mean, we know where it is. We just don't know what it looks like. So we would definitely need that piece of it.
Can I weigh in for a second? Just Peter, I don't know if you can unmute Walter, who's the 203 number, I think. Yeah, 203-676. He can maybe answer a couple of these questions.
I'm asking him to unmute.
He may have to do *6 or *9.
This is Walt Bansley. Can you hear me?
There we go.
Okay, it was *6.
Okay, thanks.
All right. If I may,
Please.
with respect to the brewing letters, they're actually aluminum, and the way there's gonna be no brackets whatsoever. On the back of each individual letter, there is a 1/4-inch rod, so to speak, that is about 3 inches long. and a small little 1/4-inch hole will be drilled into the building, and they'll be mounted like that with a little epoxy that'll keep it in the hole. So you won't see anything but the letter.
Okay, thank you.
And with respect to the door, I don't care. Whatever you guys want. It's in the back of the building. You want wood. You want wood a certain color. You don't like the emergency door. Doesn't matter to me. You tell me what you guys want, and I'm fine with it.
Well, I appreciate that. But
And then finally, with respect to the ramp, the reason that I want to do aluminum is not out of desire, but because of the transformer there, and also because of deliveries, to have the flexibility that if it needs to be moved, it can be moved. If someone needs to access the transformer, or any kind of delivery coming through the back, or loading, unloading. So it's the built-in flexibility of something aluminum.
oh, I can't move that.
So Walt, so someone can get to the transformer behind the ramp? Next to the-
The ramp will be closer to the building than the transformer, so it'll go building, ramp, transformer. But because of the angle and having to come out from the platform of where the second egress is going to be, which is required, which the fire marshal wants to see, obviously, it's going to kind of be a tight fit there. And I just think of having the flexibility, because I have a transformer sitting in my backyard, that it just, in the long term, something goes wrong, somebody needs access to it. I just think that, I think it's more prudent to take that approach.
So as we look at this site plan, the transformer is that X right there, right?
Yes. Yes.
So just so I understand, how is moving the ramp going to provide easier access to the transformer?
It's going to allow access to all sides of the transformer. I don't know how transformers work or what could go wrong, but it's a pretty big thing that looks pretty important. And I'm guessing that somebody wanted access to it, having complete access to it would allow that.
I mean, I would think if you built your ramp in sections, you could probably remove pieces of it to allow access on that backside if it were necessary.
That sounds like a lot of work and a lot of money.
Yeah,
Whereas I could have one piece that is flexible that could move.
I hear what you're saying, Walt, but I really don't think it makes any sense knowing what I know about transformers. So typically the working side of the transformer is
What do you guys want to see? A wood ramp?
I
A
just
concrete ramp? What do you want to see?
I think we're just not crazy. I visualize or know what an aluminum ramp looks like, and I know what it sounds like when you go up and down it. And this doesn't seem appropriate for this building.
Okay. I understand. I understand the concern. Again, what do you want to see? Wood? Same thing with the door. I don't care. I was trying to be flexible.
Wood is fine. Concrete is fine. You know, I'd do wood if I were you.
I agree
Okay,
with that.
wood it is. There you go. Done.
And do we want a wood door with a window?
If it were me, I would do that for safety reasons.
Wood door with a window. Done. What else?
Now the problem, Walt, is we got to see what it looks like.
Todd, you kind of go in and out a little bit, just to let you know.
I don't know where my microphone is anymore. I thought it was on my camera. Is that me?
That's better. Yeah.
So I think what Todd was saying is we need to see the specs of the door to approve it. But I mean, you know, the way that and I don't mean to speak for the commission, but, you know, it's possible that, you know, when this goes to vote, we can approve it with the conditions that you come back with the specs of the door, and we've already taken care of the sign. We can include that in the notes of the vote. And I think we would probably need, I mean, the ramp's already laid out. I think we would just need to note that it's a wood ramp.
Is it going to have any railings?
It says, right now it says proposed 20-foot
Yeah.
wood
railings,
aluminum
yeah.
ramp with railing
Okay.
slope of 7% under 30 inches in height. So I think we would just need to say that the applicant has changed it to wood. I don't know anybody's thoughts on that. I'm just trying to.
No, it sounds good to me.
Anybody else? I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth. No? All right. Does anyone have anything else on this application?
No.
No? Walt, Greg, you guys good?
No, I think we can supply the detail for the door. I mean, I'm just thinking a wood door with half glass on the upper part.
Okay.
Very simple.
All right. If no one has anything else, then I will ask anyone in the audience if they'd like to speak for this application. Would anyone like to speak against this application? HDC, help me out, Peter. 20-61 is closed. I believe this was the only application on the agenda, so we will move into deliberations for this application, and I'll just remind the audience that no one but the commission members and staff can speak during this process. So does anyone have any comments or motions on HDC 20-61? I'll say my comments are, I'm not opposed to the changes. I just feel that they need a little bit of additional detail. Like we discussed, we need to delineate what the, if approved, we need to delineate what the signage is made of, that the door, they need to come back for the specs, and that the ramp is wood.
Well,
I can't hear you, Todd.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
If they have to come back with the door, they really have to come back with a drawing of the ramp and how it's going to be constructed or what it's going to look like.
Fair enough. Don?
So are we gonna, I would move to approve with these conditions. What we do, just add them as conditions of the approval? Would they come back with that for a separate vote on those two issues?
Okay. Does anyone have any other comments on this before we move, before someone seconds? No? All right, I'll second the motion.
Who made the motion?
Well, Don made the motion, but I'm gonna delineate the, unless you want to delineate the conditions you made the motion on, Don.
No, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, so this motion has been made conditionally upon that the sign is made of aluminum with no brackets, with a 1/4-inch rod and epoxied to the building, and that the ramp in the back and the door in the back are not approved at this time, and that they need to come back with more detail on those particular aspects of the project.
Sounds good.
Did I get that? All right. So all in favor of that, I will do a roll call. Moriarty, aye. Levinson,
Aye.
Brady.
Aye.
The application is conditionally approved. All right. So we can now move into our pre-application. I don't know if anyone was here first.
Thank you.
Is anyone here together? I think that, okay. Why don't you two go that we're here together?
I'm not muted. Hi. I'm sorry, our computer kicked us off, so we do have some paperwork to show you, but we're just wondering, we're having an
You have to
in-ground pool.
just you got to give us your name and your address.
Oh, I'm so sorry. This is Amy Plord and Patrick Nolan. And we're from 3 Elm Street in Mystic. And we're looking about approval for a fence around a pool.
Okay. And you had photos and they were on your computer and you can't share them?
Yeah, so we're gonna pull them up right now. He's just rebooting it.
Okay.
I have the plot, the land survey, just to show you where it will be. And the pool, it's just a typical black aluminum fencing around, and it's in the back of our yard, but you can kind of see it. It'll be the back left corner.
I just made you co-host, so you should be able to share from your screen now.
Okay, he's trying right now.
Is there an existing fence?
Around the perimeter of our yard, there's an existing fence, but just for the code, we have to have a 48-inch around the actual. So one long side of it. Oh, hold on, his is working. We'll show you. All right. Sorry about that.
Yeah, if you have two devices too close to each other at the same time, you get that kind of echo. Just give you a heads up.
I think they got kicked off completely.
The dog is there.
Yes.
They're both still there, but
All right, let's give them a few minutes to work out their technical issues. Mark, if you want to go, you're muted.
Back.
How am I doing?
You're good. Hold on. Let me just let Amy know. Amy, can you hear me? We're going to give you a few minutes to get rebooted and we're going to let Mark go. Okay. Sorry, Mark.
Okay, I can share my screen.
hang on one second. Oh shoot, I'm ready to go. Where is he? Here he is. This is going well. Try that. There we go.
Mark,
Need to unmute.
you unmute.
How's that?
Better.
Okay. Mark Camo, architect here in Mystic. I'm representing Brian and June Carroll at 21 Gravel Street, and there is the overall streetscape view of the structure. In the bigger picture, I'm inside the home designing an entirely new kitchen that is contained within the shell, so that's not really on the table. But if you can see my cursor, I'm circling what is a fairly poorly built sunroom on this end of the house over here. And part of our design is expanding the livable space into this sunroom right here. So I'm going to go to this view, and you can see, there's this beautiful broad veranda that stretches across the front of the structure, and then you've got the sunroom over here. Interesting thing, the house is so well built. When this was constructed, those pilasters, I could karate kick and knock them off the wall there. So we're going to redo that whole thing. It's going to look just like it is with the same proportions. But what we want to do is close it in and make it weather tight and make it the dining room now. So it's going to retain its exterior look. But to go back to this view, there are these French doors on the front of the house that are 1/1 light, and they're twinned. And we want to copy those and put one here, one here, one here, and all the way around to look like this. So it's the same door, 1/1, pairs of two, placed between the pilasters, and there'll probably be an Anderson or a Pella, custom door to fit into the opening that we've got there. And that porch would go from looking like this to looking like that. Same door that's on the front of the house. That's part A. Part B is that Brian and June down the road, they would also like to re-side the house. Some of the clapboard is in pretty rough shape. So the house will look like you're looking at, but it will just be replacing the siding. I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, actually I'm going to ask the question, has Burrell and Hardy been approved by the HDC for use?
In the historic district?
Yes.
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 Okay. Because the better parts of the home were done previously with, it's either Burrell or it's Hardy, and it looks very good. So, Brian and June are very invested in making sure that whatever they do, the house retains its character as you see it. So part A is to close in the sunroom, make it a permanent part of the residence by matching the French doors. And part B would be to eventually down the road as a second phase, reside the yellow part of the house clapboards in kind. Other than that, it's all interior work.
Looks,
Anyone else has comments?
yeah, looks fine to me. The clapboard, whatever you go with, if it's Boral or it's is it Boral or is it Boral? I've always called it Boral. But what do I?
It's a tomato.
It's not going to look any different if you use either that or the Hardy board, so that's fine. And I think that the copying the front windows is an improvement to the sun porch appearance-wise.
I agree. Don?
So the pillars of the sun, everything else, you're going to come back with the materials and everything for all that stuff?
Yeah, I'll have a detail. The pilasters are in this area are 12-inch pilasters with a cap molding. So I'll have a design detail on the dimensionality of what that is, as well as specs on the door that we're going to use.
It's just my opinion for what it's worth, but if you could kind of match the pilasters in the front, I think it would look nice. But just my opinion.
Yeah, what we have here is we've got, of course, circular columns, but in line with the circular columns back here is a pilaster from the original part of the house, and it's fluted, and this is a flush pilaster. So I think what you're saying is possibly match these pilasters with a fluted one, like on the house.
Yeah, and it's just my opinion.
It's an off-the-shelf piece, and all this stuff is so great that we can have it so accessible. But yeah, we'd be open to matching the pilasters, definitely.
But Mark, when I look at your drawing of the sun porch with the windows, it would appear that the windows are set back in, but are they in fact set back in like they appear there?
They are they're just a little bit, Todd. Those pilasters, because it's a screened-in porch, they're 12 by 12, and so there will be a little more shadow relief on that part of it.
Okay.
And as I mentioned, it's built on sonotubes. There's dirt underneath it, so their intent is to actually remove that and completely rebuild it, but just like you see it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Mark.
Okay, thank you. So the next step would be a public hearing, and
Great. And it is
that
October 6th.
October 6th. And documents have to be submitted a week before the hearing, correct?
So I am looking at the 22nd of October. If you can get me the application by then.
Oh, do we not have a meeting?
No, but we have that extra week.
Are you talking September or October, Linda?
Did I say October? Oh, I'm so sorry. September, 22nd of September. So a week from today,
Yep.
if you could get everything to me, that would be the most ideal. If you
Yep.
can at least get me the application and as much of the exhibits as you have, that would be fine.
Okay. A week from today. And then the first Tuesday in October would be the
Six.
hearing.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. Can do.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay, thank you guys.
You-
Are you ready, Amy?
You're muted.
Okay. All right. I'm going to show you what I have, and then you can tell me what I need for the next time. And I apologize, it's going to be rough because I'm just going to turn you around and show you my iPad, and I can't share it. But this is the beginning. This is the street. This is the face of the house on Elm Street. The pool is in this back corner. So if we can make that bigger. The red is what the fence is. It would be 28 by 43 by 28 attached to the existing stockade fence, and a typical 48-inch black aluminum, unless you guys have a different idea, that's fine. We don't really care. Fence around that. It's well
So-
within the property.
You have a stockade fence all the way around your property?
No, when we moved into the house, just right, this is stockade and this is stockade that the previous owner had put up.
So what's around the perimeter of your property?
It's a white picket fence.
Okay. And are they flush pickets or can you see through the pickets?
You can see through them.
And you're looking to put just like, do you have a picture of the fence?
Yes, I do. This is what he proposed. But the pool guy and we are also open.
So that would be on 3 sides, Amy.
This would be on 3 sides, yes.
You're gonna run it.
I think there's one more photo. Oh, no, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, if you guys prefer something else, that's fine, but
I mean, that looks fine to me. I can't necessarily.
yeah, we would do plantings in front of it and around, but that's the gist
So-
of it.
Things that you would need when you come back would
Mhm.
be a GIS map of where your property was, which is
Okay.
similar to what you zoomed in on earlier. And
Sure.
then photos of the fence with the dimensions of it,
Okay,
how tall it is, how long it is, how far it runs, the gate detail.
Great.
Pictures of your house, like the front of your house. Am I missing anything else? Anyone?
Well, if you had a picture from wherever the view is from the street that you would see the
sure.
fence.
Okay. We could do that.
So we could visualize. Yeah.
I don't really have anything now and it's dark out, but yes, I'll come back with that. I'll make sure that you guys have that before.
And I guess, Linda, ideally, if you wanted to go to a public hearing on the 6th of October, you would want to get information to Linda by the 22nd, Linda?
Yes.
Yes, I can have all that to her.
And if it's digitized, or you can email it to her as an attachment, and it's much easier for her to.
That's exactly what we'll do. We're a little unprepared.
Well, this is a preliminary. You're fine.
You showed up. You're
We
advocating.
can show up.
All right. Did you have any other questions for us? I think you know what you need.
Don't just that. So the 4 things I'll have I'll get those to Linda.
Do you have the sheet that we hand out that tells you what you need to have for a hearing?
I do not. Is that, Linda, is that maybe attached to the email?
It is not attached to the email that I sent you this morning, but I can send you one tomorrow. It will have the
That'd be great.
application and the guidelines.
Okay, perfect. Great.
Thanks, Amy.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Have a good night.
You too.
All right. So where are we? Approval of the minutes from September 1, 2020.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Moriarty, aye. Levinson,
Aye.
Brady.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. New business. I have one thing that I want to talk about super quickly. I know this meeting ran a little long. As we all do, we get approached by people because they know us about questions. And I was recently approached by Bob Mercer on that recent project that he's doing on Gravel Street for Sully Ahmed. And the question he posed was, he would like to change the garage doors from what he submitted in his application to a different design. And his question was, do I need to come back? And through the course of conversing with him, he is confident that the doors are not at all visible from any public way. So, this is the question that I've been wrestling with. This is exactly what we're talking about changing the guidelines and trying to find some type of streamlined process. Like, from my perspective, he put the doors in his application to make it a complete application. However, changing the material of the door, he shouldn't be required to have to come back before us for approval for something that we don't have jurisdiction over simply because he decided to include it into a complete application. I think that we need to quickly, I would like to figure out some administrative review where he can just submit it and say, in case someone ever looks at his application and says, hey, your doors don't match what you submitted, he can say, I'm just switching out the material. The material isn't visible from a public way and it has no relevance on my approval. I don't know what anyone's thoughts are here.
Mike, are you then thinking that we need to vote on that or just put it into the record somehow?
Yeah, I think that it shouldn't even, I suppose it could come to us administratively if we chose like Stonington P&Z, and I think Groton P&Z has an administrative component where people just say, which has really no bearing, this is what I'm doing, and we note it and we put it in the file so that all the dots are connected. But I don't think that people should have to come back for approval on something that doesn't need approval simply because they included it in their application to make it a complete application. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. So, but what would the process be to be able to act that way?
Just on two things, just historically. If something didn't require your approval, you would typically say that during the application. If someone said, oh, you can't see this window's in the back, but I want to change all the windows in the front. And, typically that's part of the conversation. I don't know if it's always specifically in the minutes that's outside of our jurisdiction. You can't see that. That doesn't apply. So even though they've kind of brought it up and made it part of the application, that's just one kind of a thought of how to go, wherever you're headed. And then the other part of it is that often folks will come in. I don't know if we've lost Sarah or not, but often folks will come in and they will say, I am going to do something to my house. It's in the district, but what I'm doing is like for like. And they are certifying, if you will, on the building permit that it's like for like. And we pretty much take them at their word until or unless it's brought up that, hey, this isn't like for like, they've done something different. And then, then we investigate. So those are just a couple of thoughts that over the years, the way things have evolved. And
I cut out a little bit. I'm sorry, I don't know what happened. So I didn't get to hear all of what you said. But in remembering this particular application, it was for a whole garage. And he submitted the whole garage with lights and doors and windows. And, we looked at it as a whole and we didn't stop and say, wait, we can't see those garage from the public way. Okay. So we don't want to look at the garage doors. And maybe that's something that we should be more careful about going forward. But in his particular application, we just kind of looked at it as a whole. And he submitted these particular doors and he wants to change them for something that's very similar, but I don't necessarily think that he should have to come back. So
well, maybe what he could do, and we don't really have a true administrative process except to the extent that we're under jurisdiction. I guess isn't really a process either. But it would seem to me he could submit a modification to his current application, maybe not even attend the meeting and just submit it to us and say, we need to change these doors. These doors are not visible. So in fact, you don't have jurisdiction and we can open jurisdiction.
That's kind of what I was thinking, is he submits a modification, stating these aren't visible, please just denote it in my file, the change, so that you can connect the dots from the material in case anyone ever decided to be a bad neighbor.
Right, but I think that we, in essence, could deal with it administratively, and even have to come onto Zoom and.
Exactly. That was what I meant. I agree with you on that. Yes.
Well, maybe we could just take it up under old business and then just note it for the record for the minutes that we accept the letter and put it in the record.
That's probably, I have to think about that, but I think that is a pretty good idea too.
That might work too, Don. So
That way we don't have to have a public hearing on it. It's just administratively old business. We're connecting this application to this change in material.
that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it does too. Okay. All right. That's all I had under new business. So, I'll let them know, and then we can try and figure out some type of procedure so that the town can communicate with people who apply. All right. Old business. I lost my agenda. Is there any old business?
What about that guy who was complaining about the pipe railing on the DOT project?
He just sent me that letter. I just wanted to make everybody aware. I don't actually think we have jurisdiction over that. It's a state project. I think that it was just kind of being cordial that they were sharing it with us. We could probably make modification or suggestions, but I actually don't think that they have to follow them.
And I also think that I'm sure that the pipe rail that he wanted to have reintroduced and replaced is probably does not meet today's highway standards for safety. I mean,
Plus, I drove by there several times. I don't think that pipe railing is particularly attractive as it is. So
you could drive right through it even if it was brand new. It's not,
I do know that in some cases DOT has put up like a rust-colored guardrail as opposed to a plain aluminum one.
they had problems with it and they stopped doing it.
Oh, they stopped doing that?
And apparently it didn't work out for them. I don't know why, but they're not doing it anymore. They were nice looking, Don.
All right. Public communications. The only communication I have is Heather Giannakopoulos resigned today. That will be coming out later. So.
Okay, and Sarah, you weren't, I don't think there at the very beginning, but I heard through the grapevine that somebody else applied to be on our commission, but I don't know if the person was talking about the previous applicant who had since withdrawn, or have you heard about somebody new? Sarah?
I can address, I heard Bill Ferguson applied for a position on the commission and apparently was recently interviewed.
Okay.
But as Linda said, they don't get informed about this kind of thing. Right?
Everyone's cutting out on. Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You were all frozen for about 30 seconds. So, does anyone have anything else before I lose you all again?
No.
I lost you all again. All right, I move to adjourn. I heard Don say no. All right, we are adjourned.
Okay.
Thank
Good night,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.